Hi all, here's our first what's new for the year. What we're going to do today is show you the new paint range we've brought in. This is called AK Interactive. They do a number of acrylics, lacquers, accessories and everything else. So what we're going to do is show you through it and give you a look and see. This paint range has been around for a little while now, but we've decided to put it in on a permanent basis and already it's proved very, very popular. Basically the paints are acrylics or lacquers. There is a few enamels in it as well, but that's mostly to do with their weathering effects and things like that. First off, this is the standard range of acrylics. These are based on the principle that you can hand paint or airbrush both of these. This is in the orange series. You've got armour, a little bit of aviation, general purpose colours, things like that. The range has on the front of it for airbrush, for brushes and airbrush, which means the paint is able to be painted with a brush or airbrushed straight out of the bottle. It's a little plastic bottle, quite easy to use. You can do drops and everything else. You can thin this paint if you wish to do a little bit further, but they say the opacity of the paint is good enough to hand paint as well as airbrush. So that's the first part of the series. This is all pure acrylic. The second part of the acrylic range is their air series. Now air doesn't mean it's airbrushable, it means it's the aviation side of the paint. Again, this stuff supposedly can be hand painted and airbrushed, but from what I've read a little bit more, it's more orientated towards airbrushing. Lots of military aviation colours, so that should fill you in with quite a bit of the bits and pieces. From there, we go around to the AK weathering effects. Now this is their weathering effects series first up. This has got washes, pigments, streaking paint, chipping paint. It's got panel line paints in here as well. Basically everything you need to have a look at doing weathering effects on various models, both armour and aircraft and ships and tank and all sorts of things. So quite a big range. There's more to it, so we'll be building onto that as we go. This is their diorama effects series. This is the larger bottles, as you can tell by the smaller bottles. This is larger bottles of some of the product they've got in here, but it also has other products in there that you won't find in this series. So this is the wet ground. You've got all sorts of, even gels, the water gels. This is Pacific Blue, so you can even have colours to suit specific areas of the world. So you've got Pacific, Atlantic, Swamp Green. These are all your gels for water and things like that. Dark Earth. As we go down, these are all your various bits and pieces. There's even resin water, various bits and pieces, resin ice, so you can do all that sort of stuff. So there's all that sort of series. Now, the main part of the main reason we brought this in was because we've been asked so often about the AK real colours. These colours are done specifically and precisely for various aircraft, armour, things like that. There's two series in the range, aircraft and armour, as I just said. This is airbrushed. It's a lacquer paint, so you need specific thinner for it, which are these down here. But the colours are also scaled, so they don't have the intensity of a true colour on a real full-size aeroplane. They're scaled to it. The beauty of these are the colours have all been specifically matched using either FS colours and things like that, but they've also been checked out by experts supposedly that have done all the right research and everything else. The other thing about these is they can be so specific that in the case of, for the German modelers, RLMO2, you actually have two versions and they are quite distinct in their colour. One is for 1938, the other one is for 1941, and that happens quite a bit through this paint range. You'll have colours where the colour has a variation between years even. So the top colour, the black tops, are all the aviation. Now there's FS, RAL, British Standard, all sorts of things in there. The bottom colours with the clear tops is your general purpose colours and all your armour. And the armour has got the same principle that you can do colours from 1939, 1938 to 1945 of the same colour. So it has that colour variation in it. There's Japanese, American, British, Italian, even I think there's even Finnish in there somewhere along the line. So that's that paint range. This is called Real Colour. It's proving very popular. So that's going to be quite a good one. If you're looking for your pigments and things like that, this is the pigment range. This has got quite a range in it, from everything from mud to sand to desert yellow to you name it, they've almost got it in it. For the metal paints, this is the Metal Extreme. This is airbrushed. Very good. It's a lacquer based version of it. Nice paint. From what I've been told so far, I've got to be honest, I haven't used it yet. I'm going to intend to. But it's really nice. Hardly any smell to it apparently. Goes on well, thins with their lacquer paints, lacquer thinner, and you go from there. The range is quite extensive, right down to even having metal blue colour, so that you can do that sort of stuff. The next one beside it is the True Metal. If anybody remembers the old S&J type pastes, this is a similar thing. This is a paste that you put on the surface, you let it dry, and you polish it off, and essentially you just keep polishing it until you either get it to the point you want it at, or you have it at a level that you just want to work with and add other stuff to it. So that's also a good range. I haven't read anything yet about how to thin it, so I'm not sure that you're supposed to. So just, there's probably research out there or some information. I haven't come across it yet, but I'm still looking. This is only new, where I've only had a chance in the last week to really go to town on it and have a look. I'm now going to show you some of the accessories and then add-on sets and everything else, so give it a sec and we'll have a look. Continuing on, there's a lot of new different style of products in this AK range, so we're going to show you bits and pieces. First off, weathering pencils. These are brilliant. These are wax-based paint pencils. This is so that you can do your weather streaks, streaking. They also say that you can use a bit of thinner and you can sort of wipe it down to give that sort of lighter shaded of streaking. But if you want to do chipping and things like that, there's also a lead weathering set. So that's quite a big range. Nice set of pencils. Varnishes. We were talking about varnishes before. This is their 4 different varnishes that they use. Standard varnish of glossy, satin and matte. They also have an ultra matte varnish. Now, they reckon that you can hand paint this and it will level out really well. From what I've seen so far, this is true. You can airbrush it, but apparently it's more designed to hand paint, so that's an interesting one. These are your primers. Now, they've done it in various colours to suit various bits and pieces. You've got your blacks, your browns, your greens, rusty colour, sandy colour, the red, brown, German red, brown colours, and then your standard grey as well. So they've got plenty of choices of primers. It's a reasonable sized bottle, so you get plenty out of it. So it should be pretty cool. This is their, let me just change glasses, excuse me. This is their primer and micro filler. They do a grey, a white and a black, just for doing that nice little even finish over that. You might also want to use it as a filler, so that's there as well. They do various sets. These are the sets for the real colour. The red is army, military, and the blue is aircraft. They also do these other sets. They also do a range of sets for different things. German war colours, Panzer grey, red and blue, dust effect, Luftwaffe camouflage. These all contain various pots of paint so that you've got specific to certain areas if you just want to buy a set. Also, all these accessory bits, these are also sets as well. These usually come with 3 pots of paint. This is the standard AK range. This is their brush and airbrush series, and it's colours for combos for German 44 to 45. So if you only want to do that, but they also do it for some of their other bits and pieces. We also have the larger sets. This one is for engines and metal weathering set, so you've got the weathering pigments and all the rest of it, the washers. So that's that series. They also do a lot of, well, like this is leaves and shrubbery and foliage and everything else. It's quite good. There's quite a lot in it, so you'd be surprised how much you can get out of it. They even do leaves. This is oak leaves. You can't really see it too well, but 35th scale oak leaves, so that you can add that little bit more effect to your modelling. We also have retarder. That's the thinner for the orange top paints, but it is used on also for other areas that you can do for dry brushing and everything else. They do an ultra gloss. That's a 2-part or 3-part ultra gloss paint set. That's also available for cars. You also have thinner and cleaner. Now this can be used for your weathering, cleaning airbrushes, all that sort of stuff. Perfect cleaner, same sort of principle, sort of bits and pieces. Photo etch burnishing just helps with the making the metal a bit rougher. White spirit. Now white spirit is used often in their weathering sets, things like that. It's essentially terps, but it's white spirit. And then you've got the nitro cleaner and a couple of others. They also do tape. That's the masking tape. That's the 2mm masking tape. So if you're looking for that sort of thing, and go from there. Now, they also do a very big range of books and things like that. So far, we've been very impressed with them. The two most important ones I recommend at the moment are these two. This is their standard catalogue. The beauty of it is, it gives you everything that they do. It gives you everything that they do, so you can see all through, and they've got the sets, and they even have colour charts, the pencils, what to do with them. But at the back, they actually have how to use some of their products. So through here. So this is a how-to use product guide. So this one is on fuel stains and how to create them. There's all sorts of things, and it's not just the weathering sets. There's paint sets. There's all sorts of things through there. So there's some really, really nice stuff there. The catalogue is worth having just as even a starter point on modelling, because it uses all sorts of things. It tells you about all the products, and then it shows you how to use it. Really, really good. $39.99. Great book if you're just looking for something to do. However, when I first picked this up, I thought, no, just like most other beginners modelling books, this will have all the usual bits and pieces. It actually doesn't. This is a fabulous book. This is worth any modeler, even older modelers or modelers that have been around for a while, can use this. There's information in here that even I haven't come across before, or I've always wondered how you do it. There's so much stuff in here. How to use fillers, how to use, what have we got here? Paint strippers, all that sort of stuff. But they've also got, these sort of articles, how to deal with photo etch. There's all sorts of things, tools that you should use for each sort of thing you're doing. Thinners and solvents and what they are and how they work, how you use the paints, what spray cans paints are, all that sort of stuff. Then they've got airbrushes. Which one do you choose? How do you use one? What are they for? How to clean them. Then they've got articles further back on, this one is how to do pre-shading. So all those questions that you might have been asking, there's even things about how to do the hairspray product system. So there's all that. So this, even a modeler of many years, I've bought this because I felt it's got some things in there I've always wondered how you do, but it also fills it in on just information on just other interests that are in there. This is a great book. This is really worth having. I've recommended to all our staff to all pick up one, because with the questions that modelers ask, a lot of the answers are already in this book. So you're going to be able to go through it, use the product, understand what they're trying to do, and then see techniques you've never seen before or always wondered about. As I've said, there's even the salt water effect in there and everything else, and how to do it. So, as Molly Meldrum once said, do yourself a favour, even if you're a very experienced modeler, there still may be something in here that's worth having a look at, so it's worth picking up. AK also have a very good policy that just because they don't use the product, but if it works for using their product, they'll include it in the article. So it's not just AK that they will talk about, so that's really, really good, and I find that very interesting. Other than that, we do have more coming in. There is a lot of things that we haven't brought in yet because we're still trialling the range or the rest of the range, but look out for these. These are going to be in soon again. This will be in shortly, but they also do a whole lot of other books. These little ones, this is just on metallics and how to use them from the AK range. Again, realistic wood effects, how to get your best effect. What else have we got? Using photo etch, there's that one. And then in the bigger series books, they've got things like, this is the FAQ. Now this is a big book, as you can see, and this is entirely frequently asked questions about AFV modelling techniques. This is just any sort of AFV modeler, how to do dioramas, how to make bases, how to do styling, how to use different products. It's just how to make casts, how to make, using a mini drill to make casts, all that sort of stuff. So that's a very, very good book. The other ones we can have a look at. This is a book just purely on modern conflicts. This one's Iran-Iraq wars, and it's all about the vehicles and everything else and how to paint them. This one's my favourite, along with the beginner's guide. This is the real colours of World War II. This is based on that paint range. Now there is a military one as well. So this one is for aircraft, military. This is a hardback. And again, this basically goes through and gives you a complete guide on using the various colours, what they are, what they were used for. There's lots of colour pictures in it, and it's all based on the real colours range. So you can use this book as a guide to picking up the paints that you need from the real colours. So very, very nice book. It's broken up into all the different air forces. That's really nice. Other than that, there's more books to come. Now that we've seen more and more about the product, we're going to get more and more of it in. There's other product yet that we still haven't brought in yet, but we will do because we've had more chance going through this book now to understand the product. So look out for that. This range is going to grow, and we're really going to see a big difference in what the rest of it that we carry. Other than that, that's all for today. I am going to do one shortly on what's new in model kits. But other than that, for today, have a good look at this AK Interactive. There's also some very good YouTube videos out on there as well, which will tell you things, and they even recommend go and have a look at some of their stuff. So that's it for today, for this lot. If you need any more questions, have any questions, give us a call, jump online, give us a yell. See you then. Bye.